All I know is I've set foot on the shore, and the country exists.
Don't you think there's something male in every woman and something female in every man?
I propose that we meet here, most days, to talk for an hour or two.
Talk?
Yes, just talk.
Well, I had heard that Ralph Fiennes was playing Carl Jung in a play by Christopher Hampton, and of course I worked with Ralph on Spider, so I was very interested in the play. And when I read it, it suddenly occurred to me that perhaps I'd always really wanted to do a movie about Freud and the birth of psychoanalysis. And here was a wonderful dramatic structure, which is something that I didn't have in mind. And it introduced, in particular, the character of Sabina Spielrein, who was someone I had never known existed.
Perhaps she's the one for your experimental treatment.
Tell me about the first time you can remember being beaten by your father.
It excited me.
I mean, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done because there is such an immense mass of material. And you sort of knew that in there was a really, really interesting story. But you had to wade through tons of other stuff before it revealed itself, really.
This was Freud, as I say, at the age of 50, and described in the literature of the times as very handsome, charismatic, masculine, witty, elegant. When you think of him that way, then casting Viggo in that role is maybe not so unusual.
Well, when I first read it, I thought it was a great script, very well written. I came to appreciate how well researched and how solid it was historically.
And I really thought that it would be good to sort of upset the stereotypes of Freud and Jung as well, because Jung, when we meet him, is also not the grandfatherly Jung that you can see in interviews on YouTube, but he is a 29-year-old, very ambitious, very, very rigorous in his thinking.
At this time, you know, especially if you're dealing in the academic world, if you don't have a good command of your language, i.e. in sort of discourse, then you get eaten alive, and it was very much a weapon and a tool back then. The physical life was something that I went away and, you know, discovered myself. It's something that I do on every character. It's like, how does the character move, you know? The stiff collars and the clothing in times could be quite sort of restrictive. I'm Dr. Jung. I admitted you yesterday.
I'm not mad, you know.
We had discussed at length what the symptoms of hysteria were for this woman, Sabina.
I found my way into the archive room of the Burg Hölzli Hospital in Zurich and was shown the case notes of Sabina Spielrein written by Jung. So that kind of let me into the story in a very dramatic way.
I think that you also get that Jung and Freud really were fond of each other and connected immediately with enthusiasm.
I wonder if you're aware of the fact that our conversation has so far lasted 13 hours.
Which lends more of a tragic quality to the way the story plays out.
It was very much a father-son relationship between Freud and Jung, with a very Freudian outcome, which was that the son felt he had to destroy the father in order to live his own life.
In any event, I've simply opened a door. It's for the young men like yourself to walk through it. I followed the principle that what really happened was no doubt more interesting than anything I could invent. And so we just stuck always to what actually happened.
I wait until I see the actors play the scene. I mean, we really start to work out the choreography of a scene first thing in the morning, nobody else around, just me and the actors. That's when I start to decide with my director of photography what lens we'll use, what angle we'll use, how we'll reveal what the scene has to offer. I don't rehearse. So, of course, we've done a lot of preparation because we've worked out the hair and the costumes and I've chosen the location, or we've built the sets and we've decorated the sets in the period and so on. So there's a lot that's been decided. There's a lot of directing that happens before you say action.
If you ever want to take the initiative, I live in that building there, where the bay window is.
Using film to explore the human condition, it's the traditional thing of art. That's still what it means to me. It's my instrument for exploring what it means to be a human being now.